The 2020 draft in the books. No trips to Las Vegas, which is a bummer. Most folks staying in their house. But before we get to the Jags grades, did they pull off the draft? Is this the way it's going to be from now on, guys?
I missed a lot of it. Like I didn't like. I don't like the timing of it from a television standpoint. Maybe that doesn't bother the regular fans. That drove me crazy. I like being in this. I mean, you guys go to it. I mean, Nashville was electric by all this. I mean, I don't like it like this. If you want the option, and they've given them the option of staying at home and being with their families, that's cool. But I like if I was a kid, I'd want to walk that red carpet, get that hat, come out and, celebrate. I don't know. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I think you see a mixture of the two next year, whereas the first round reverts back to how it's been, where you have the stage, you have the pomp and circumstance, and, maybe picks the guys who are ranked 50 to 150, they send these NFL draft kits to. You send them the cameras still and the hats, and they still have that option to be at home. Or, heck, top guys that want to do that, now that they've seen what it looks like. But like today on day 3, it didn't really feel any different to me than it has in other years, other than NFL Network not being able to do their, stump the truck thing where they showed the video. But otherwise today really didn't feel that different rounds 4 through 7.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think that for me, obviously, I kind of just hate it for the guys that don't get to walk across the stage and receive the hat because, you work so long and so hard, to get to that point. That's sort of like the low-key pinnacle of success, like your I made it moment, being able to walk across that stage. But I do think, just like everyone else, I think that they will kind of try to find a way to implement sort of this way with the other ways, especially considering that it went probably, more smooth than anybody could have ever thought that it could have gone.
Marcel's a walk across the stage guy too, by the way. He would walk across the stage and he would have his whatever suit on and he would be doing this and he would jump up into Goodell's hands. I mean, oh my gosh.
I mean, if I put in all this work for 3 or 4 years of college, all the two-a-days, all the practices, the blood, sweat, and tears, I think I deserve to parade myself around for about 45 seconds.
I just hope when you open your jacket, it would be pictures of us.
Maybe 1 or 2, but about 40 of me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about right. Hey, well, I think you're right. We'll see a mix of it. Forget about the walking across the stage. I mean, the atmosphere, even Trey Wingo announcing it, you kind of like that background noise of everything going on.
I missed it.
The busy nature. You do miss that a little bit. Although they did pull it off, too. You knew the NFL would pull it off. It wasn't a disaster, that's for sure. And it has its pluses, minuses. All right, speaking of pluses, minuses, letters, what do you give the Jags grade? I guess I'll go first, guys. I'll give it a B. I'm not over the moon about it. I think that's part of it when you go defense mostly instead of offense. I think this was a 2-year draft. It had this year in mind and next year in mind. I mean, this is a rebuild, reload, whatever you want to call it. But I would have liked to see more weapons for Minshew and Gruden. The kid in the second round, Chenault, could give them a little bit of a dynamic that we haven't seen around here. And maybe even a bit of an identity. We'll see how Gruden uses him. And I did like the red zone guy, the pick in the 5th round. I just don't know how good he is. So the Jags are basically saying, hey, John DeFilippo, you screwed up our offense. And we're going to run the risk of Cam Robinson playing well in a contract year, Jawan Taylor getting even better, Minshew getting better, DJ Chark being a stud, and then Gruden using D.D. Westbrook and now the Chenault kid and the running backs and the tight ends of Tyler Eifert and Josh Oliver better than DeFilippo did. I mean, that's why it's a B for me. It's hard to get excited about it. I think they made sound picks in the first 4 rounds that really will help their defense probably long term.
Yeah, I'm probably a C. I'm so disappointed in the creativity of this draft. Where was the creativity? We talked about this a lot, guys. There was no way they were going to take 12 guys. They took 12 guys. I cannot believe they took 12 guys. Why don't we go get Trent Williams? I'm just throwing that out. But why don't we go get the running back from San Francisco for a 5th rounder? Where are those moves? You mentioned some of the names, Brent, and I was thinking about this too. I was like, okay, well, who are the guys that are going to be, Josh Allen, DJ Chark, Jawan Taylor, and you only hope that, 3 or 4 of these. Ben Barch from in the 4th round. Maybe they know something we don't know, but I don't know, man. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. I didn't get it.
Yeah, along those same lines, I'd probably go C+2. That idea of 12 guys, are all 12 of these guys going to make the roster? And if they do, that is a bad sign for the Jacksonville Jaguars if all 12 of these draft picks are on this team and on the 53, heck, the 46, once we start playing games again, whenever that ends up being. It's not lower because of the fact that they did fill needs with those first couple spots. But at the same time, where's your running back? Leonard Fournette's going to be here for one more year. That's if you keep him for this year. If you now decide to trade him and someone gives you a great offer, what are they doing at running back? You don't have that next guy in the wings to be someone you can add to that running back room. And you talk about offensive line. Yes, this has always been a position that they've said is they're good. They like their 5 guys that are starting on that O-line, but the first one you get, and I think the only one that you get is a project. Because you're not going to say a D3 guy is ready to go right away, even if he did okay at the Senior Bowl. So I feel like not addressing those spots when you had 12 picks and you still didn't get a running back, you still didn't get more on that offensive line, maybe higher, and not moving up to get anybody. I mean, when you have 12, you can sacrifice a 5th or a 4th and move up 5 or 10 spots. That could make all the difference in getting a better guy.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in the same boat. I'd probably stick with between C and C plus, just because I kind of feel like the same way probably everyone else did. I didn't think there was a chance that they were going to pick all 12 guys. I felt like leading up to the draft, the big talk was all this ammo to be able to move and shake, and I was expecting some moving around, going to get some guys, maybe packaging some things together. But I think they just kind of approached the draft like he said. They just kind of let it come to them, and they just sort of tried to fill as many needs. Not many sexy picks. Some of the C.J. Henderson picks is okay. The kid out of Colorado, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been locked into Rockies or Buffalo football, but from the tape I've seen, he looks all right. I guess the 6'6" receiver out of Texas sort of surprises me a little bit, but I'm kind of happy about it because we have that big body guy. But other than that, there's nothing really. Like, I'm not walking away from this saying, oh, that was a sexy pick, or I can't wait to see this guy really, So I'd probably say with that feeling, it gives me just an average vibe. So I give it an average grade.
Yeah, in defense, them sometimes the sound picks and the non-sexy picks are the better picks, even though you don't feel great about them. That sometimes does happen. But listen, you guys aren't wrong. The temperature's right. I didn't go like, yes, to any pick. The Chenault kid seems like a cool dude. That's a weapon that I'm probably overplaying because
that was my favorite.
Yeah. We'll see. It'll be fun. And listen, teaming him up with Keenan McCardell and Jay Gruden, I have confidence in that. I think that could be cool. So, and again, it gives you a little personality, man. There needs some personality on this team. That was the other part.
Yeah, Shaq. That's an exciting thing. That's the one that I was kind of like, okay. Yeah. That's smart. Let's get the local guy in here and see what he can do. And a guy like Shaq Quarterman, that's going to be fun and exciting for us to cover from our standpoint.
We're a sucker for that stuff. But captains and choir boys is kind of the idea of this. But I do feel it's a little bit different than the Gene Smith, part of that.
Brent,
Quarterman's not a choir boy guy. He'll go kick your ass in an alley. Yeah. I think the Chenault kid would do the same thing. So I think it's a little bit different. I think there's a difference between choir boys and lunch pail guys. And you could tell they were obviously done with the BS in that building because they went all the way on the other side of picking guys with good character. But I still think there's a little nastiness to some of those guys.
I would agree. I just think there's reaching, like didn't we learn our lesson last year in the 3rd round with Quincy?
Yeah, Quincy.
We had to get it. Like I felt like we got to get a big body, so they went and got Hamilton. And I felt like he might have been there if they waited to 116. I saw.
They had video of all these guys this time around.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Barch, that's the best guy available. I just thought maybe he would be available down as well. So I don't know. Like I said, hopefully, these work out and one of these 3rd-day guys can be a big-time contributor to this team. I would have much rather had I was looking for that aggressive, okay, we got Chenault. I got 3 4th-round picks. I'll give you all 3 of them. Let me get back in the second round and get Dobbins or Akers. Let me get that guy. I think we all would have been feeling a little bit better. It's not that we haven't heard of these guys. It's just that it just doesn't feel like C.J. Henderson's going to play 10 years in the NFL. Great. But let me ask you something. I'll ask each one of you guys. If Jerry Jeudy lined up against C.J. Henderson right now, 10 times, who'd win the most battles? Would you guess?
Yeah,
Jerry Jeudy.
Jeudy, of course.
Okay, well then Judy's better. So that would have been my pick. You know what I mean? I guess that's where I'm coming from.
Sure.
It's a good call. Hey, let's do this. We'll end it so Weber and Marcel can get back to doing prime time for tonight. Mm-hmm. But I'm putting you on the spot here. If I say, give me a winner and a loser of the Jags draft. And here, I'll give you an example. So I'll go for you. I'll go winner. I was going to go Gardner Minshew. I thought it was day one because they basically said, hey, we're not going to pick quarterback on top of you. You're the guy. But I'm going to go something different. Offensive line. They basically said, hey, offensive line, we love you. We believe in you. Cam Robinson, we believe in you. Because nobody is threatening those 5 guys' jobs. Now, you can add Will Richardson to the mix because he platooned with A.J. Cann. But that's it. I mean, this guy that they took in the 4th round, he is like a next-year project. He's not threatening Cam Robinson's job. So I think the winner is the offensive line. I think the loser in this, the first one that comes to mind is Leonard Fournette for me, because they couldn't get him out of Jacksonville, and I think he wouldn't have minded them getting him out of Jacksonville. And I also don't think they're going to run their offense through them. They don't want to. They don't even want him on the roster, it doesn't look like. So I think this could be a very frustrating year and a contract year for Leonard Fournette.
And they're still trying to trade him even after they didn't get one of those running backs, which is incredible to me. But nonetheless, I will tell you the loser. I think my loser is Jan. I think he has very little leverage now, and I think, it doesn't look good for him getting traded. So I would say he's the loser out of this draft. I'll say the winner is give me a guy like Trey Herndon, because he's going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL for another year, and that's a good thing for that young man, a chance to prove himself, because they got Henderson, but it's going to be Henderson and Herndon and DJ. So I would say he was one of the winners.
It's called Triple H, by the way. Mm-hmm. Hayden, Henderson, and Herndon.
Oh, that's
good.
Triple H. I saw that on Twitter somewhere. A winner. What was it? I just had it a second ago. Oh, along those same lines that you had, Dan, I'd probably go with a guy like Avery Jones because of that fact that they don't get Brown, they don't get Kinlaw. You don't get a defensive tackle that's immediately going to supplant him. Right. So he's still that main guy on the inside on that defensive line. As far as a loser, probably someone like Keelan Cole. If you draft 2 wide receivers with those kind of skill sets, that fringe wide receiver guy that was on the roster last year, when you consider the fact that, you're going to have Chark as well as Dede as well as Conley, these 2 wide receivers, that's 5 right there. Getting awfully congested there in that wide receiver room. So I'd say a loser would be someone like Keelan Cole.
I think for me, at first, I was probably leaning on the same lines as you, Dan. But in the spirit of being different, I think winner-wise, I probably would. I'd have to go Jay Gruden, honestly, offensive coordinator, just simply for the fact that obviously he's got a tough task ahead of him here with the offensive guys that he has. But let's be honest, the offensive, in terms of playmakers on that side of the ball, is few and far in between. I think you get a guy like Chenault coming in here who might be able to do some things, some gadget plays, give him a new look, something that doesn't look like what we've seen in Jacksonville over the past few years. And you get him the 6'6" guy that he can potentially have. If we have that Minshew magic and Gardner running around, a 6'6" guy is your best friend to throw the ball up to. In terms of losers, I would just say the running back room as a whole. I think that – I don't think necessarily them not drafting a running back is saying that, hey, we're trying to get Leonard out of town, but we believe in you, Rock Armstead. If they get Leonard out of town, I have no idea who are we going to run the football. Obviously, I think that's something that they'll continue to look at and address. Maybe they want to keep Leonard here. Obviously, all signs show that they don't. But from a loser's perspective, I would have to say the running back room. It seems like running back is just not a position of importance or concentration right now.
Well,
keep until the trade deadline.
It might be a fun thing for us, though, and the fans, because that means they're going to throw the football around. And I think that's what they're going to try to do at the very least. It's interesting. You said Jay Gruden winner. He was almost in my loser category as well. You made a good point. He's got some weapons. He's got Tyler Eifert. Now, and keep in mind, they do have Josh Oliver. They probably viewed him as an extra draft pick in essence. this year.
Yeah.
Redshirt year.
There's a lot of ifs, right? A lot of. You just got to hope. There's a lot of hope, and I don't know if there is a lot of hope in
But hope for what? I mean, what are we looking at here? What's the plan? I mean, to me, it looks like it's going to be a tough season. This looks like a 4 or 5 win team to me. So if you're going to be like that, then I'm putting all my chips in and saying, let's not win any.
I'll pose this thought, by the way, with the current temperature as it comes to the sports world. Do you think teams maybe tried to pick guys that were more seasoned, more veteran, because of the fact that you're not going to have a rookie minicamp? You're not going to have really an off-season program until everybody gets there for training camp?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a good call, Weber, but how about this, guys? They're changing their entire philosophy of the football team. I mean, they've got a new offensive coordinator who does not want to go through Leonard Fournette like they have the last few years. And on defense, they're absolutely going to a 3-4.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have this. So this could – you talk about a roster that might be challenged. You talk about a lot of question marks and what ifs. The reality is the philosophies and installations might be the most challenging thing this coaching staff has in front of them.
And they'll have to do it on Zoom.
It's working out well here, guys. It's working out well.
Yeah.
Hey, let's end this thing. Let everybody go. Get back to work. 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47 Action Sports Jacks primetime tonight and tomorrow. So we'll really recap this draft. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good night.
Action Sports Jacks primetime, Saturday at 10:30 on Fox 30.